pretty big momentous day. The golden oak, the honey oak, it's coming off and it's getting painted green. I'm excited. I have been looking forward to this project, and I've got a way that I'm gonna level this whole thing off. It's gonna be a new way for me doing it on a wall cap like this, but it's not a new technique that I've done, but it'll be the first time I do it on something like this. See if it's something I can do at work, if it makes my life easier. Now, I've already done the math, and as you can see, this has been refinished before, so there's a chamfer on this side, and then there's kind of that coved chamfer, or whatever it's called. Perks of working with a dog. Always wanting to explore and get in the way, but that's okay, I love them. Because the casing is 3/4 of an inch thick, and I want a 1/4 inch reveal around it, kind of like the windowsill the other day, I've done the math, and if I just cut off the chamfer, I should have enough material left that I'll have a 1/4 inch overhang on each side of the casing. Because where it measures right now, this is about 7 1/4. The wall itself is about 4 3/4. So all I have to do, kind of like the windowsill, if I want a 1 inch overhang on each side, I just need to add 2. You okay? Because I want a 1 inch overhang on each side, I just need to add 2 inches to my measurement. So I need my wall cap material to be 6 3/4, and conveniently. So I'm burning an inch here, and I'm lined up with the chamfer on my 1 inch line. And over here, you could see it is just shy of 7 3/4 or 6 3/4, because like I said, I'm burning an inch. Now what I could do is, if after I get this ripped down, or get the chamfers ripped off, if there's still a faint line, I'm pretty sure my router will take that line away when I put the round over on it. So there's only one way to find out. A little nervous, but regardless, this is coming off today. So let's get this pulled off, and then we'll go from there. One other quick thing. You saw me measure the front wall there, the width of it, but who's to say as it goes across, it doesn't open up more? It'd be better if it shrank, but we won't know until we get into it, if whether it actually widens or if it's consistent across. But as we saw with the windowsill, it was the same on both sides. So I have hopes that that wall's not warped. It should be as simple as just, yeah. That was easy. Now, remember my trick from my windowsill video about pulling nails? What? No? You didn't see that? Oh, you should go check that out. I have a rant in it, a dog, and a windowsill gets made. Oof. Oh, I don't want to do a hack job. I just realized I have a bit of a problem. Let me show you. Here's the problem I'm having. I'm wanting to just cut the chamfer off on each side so it'd be 6 3/4 wide, but the front's already sticking out where I need it, even after I cut this chamfer off. But I've got these little notches right there. I completely forgot about the notches. If I were to cut that completely flat, I wouldn't have much room on the front for my casing at all. It would actually be less. Now I could resaw the casing down to where it's like flat up against the wall, but that's not what I wanted. I have an idea of what I could do to fix this. Just don't know if it'll look good, but I think I'm gonna do it. You'll have to wait and see. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna go buy a new piece of wood. What I was gonna do was I was gonna cut this flat and then just glue a piece of wood onto the end of it, sand it flat, and then when it's painted, you won't know. It would work on the front, but it won't work on this back piece because that one also has a notch on it, but I can't take that notch off because then I won't have enough material. I'd have to pull the whole board away from the wall and I'd be left with a huge gap on the other side. So I know it has to be 6 3/4. This long piece is 9 feet. I need a 4-foot piece for this, so off to the store. You know, this is the reality of these projects, is sometimes you can take all the measurements you want, you think something's gonna work, and then it doesn't. Which is okay. I just overlooked those corner pieces because I thought I could make it work, but oh well. So, off to Menards because I think they have a better wood selection. I just hope they have long enough of pieces, but we'll find out. All right, so our wood is secured. It's sticking out my tailgate back there. So, I got a 10-foot 1x8 and a 4-foot 1x8. $52 for both those pieces of wood. Now granted, they were select pine, which is why I like shopping at Menards for wood, because they've got their select pine versus their just like standard pine. So it's a bit higher quality. It's S4S, it's surfaced on 4 sides. And I just find them to be a lot more stable. It's, in my opinion, it's your best offer to go get wood when you're not going to like a lumber yard or something. So we're on our way to the job site right now to get these ripped down, and we'll come back when I'm actually ready to start working. It's over an hour later, but we're back. We got the material, we got it ripped down, so now we can proceed with the build. I'm gonna start by scribing the little piece over on that corner so it's got the 1-inch dog ear that wraps around the wall. I'm gonna leave that oversized because I wanna put the long piece all the way from that end to this end versus the other way around where this small piece came all the way over. Because if this angle here is not a perfect 90 degrees, it's gonna be easier to cut the smaller piece than the long piece. So we're gonna get all that taken care of, and then I'll show you my leveling system, my new way of doing it for this. Hopefully it works. I'm excited. And I just now realized I don't have my levels with me. So I've got to use my dad's levels, which they're old, but we'll see if they work. Okay, we are ready. Okay, I'm going to start by getting it evenly spaced on the front and the back, which this is about 1 1/8 inches, which I should say I ripped it down a little bit bigger than 6 3/4 just because I wanted to make sure there'd be enough of an overhang in case the wall bowed. So, we're 1 1/8 inches at the front and the back. And I want, why are you moving? Oh, the floor's deflecting. Oops. So because I want a 1-inch dog ear, I've got that as my 1-inch mark. I'm gonna take my scribe and set it to that 1-inch mark and then scribe across. And then I need a straight edge. I'm gonna use a shim to tell me the pitch of the wall. There we go. So I need to cut that out. So the reason we scribe is because you see this big gap right there? I don't want to fill that with caulk. I want to get that angle closer to the wall. So this wall is actually doing that. It's turning inwards, but you know, the board's flat. So big gap right there. We're gonna use the jigsaw to cut this one. And that's really the only tool I need other than my miter saw. So yeah, let's go get that cut. Remember in my last video how I told you there were multiple tools to cut different things? I don't want to go back into my truck because it's like 27 degrees out. So I'm gonna show you how to cut this with an oscillating tool. So I'm gonna use my oscillating tool, and I have a new blade in here so it cuts a lot cleaner. So rather than just starting from back here and just drawing a line, I'm gonna do a series of plunge cuts to get my line established, and then once I get deep enough, then I'll come back here and I'll plunge all the way through and I'll connect the line. Perfect. All right, while it's in this state, I'm also gonna route it. I wanna be careful routing around this dog ear that I don't turn and come up into here. There we go. Now another important thing to note is when I'm routing this, I'm gonna go ahead and route this entire edge because this one's button up into the next piece. But for the next piece, I can't route completely through. I need to leave a little bit of space here for where it's gonna butt up into, and then I'll just use some sandpaper to fill in where I didn't route. But again, for this one, I can go ahead and route completely through. There you go. Now it's scribed to the wall. So we got 1.1 here, 1.1 here, 1.1 here. So now we're gonna measure this board. And what I was explaining before with the routing is because this board is coming all the way through, if I were to route this edge right here, you'd see this little round over all the way through, and I don't want that. So we're gonna stop it, I don't know, maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch before it hits this board. And then I'll just use some sandpaper to connect these two lines. So let's measure this, go get it cut, get it installed. By the way, golden oak grab bar, that's probably gonna go at some point too. But for now, at least we're getting rid of the big eyesore. On today's episode of Math with Jack, let us see how wide this is, how long it is. 113 inches. So I want a 1 inch overhang on that side and an 1.1 on this side. Actually, let's just do 1.1 on all sides. So 113 plus 2 1/4 is 115 1/4. That's what that piece has to be. 115 1/4. 115 1/4. I'm gonna start by getting one clean edge, not let that land in the snow. Okay, one clean edge. So here we go. All right. Now, I need to route this, and let's make this the back side to show you. So that board that I cut, I ripped it to 6 7/8, so I'm gonna stop routing at 7 1/4. So we're gonna route all of this edge, and we're gonna stop it right here, but this whole edge and this edge can also be routed. If you wonder why when I route, I go back and then forward, it's to prevent tear out from happening. Or if tear out does happen, like if I routed this and some tear out happened, if I go back on it, it takes that tear out away. That's why I do that. All right, here's the part I was looking forward to. Now, I've taken a level all the way across this, and it's high over here, and then there's a dip. There's a dip right about here, and then it goes up again. By roughly an 1/8 to 1/4 inch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use drywall screws as my leveling system. I'm gonna start over here, and I'm gonna get one screw in about 1/4 inch. Then every 16 inches or so, I'm gonna do another one, and I'm gonna level it as I go across. You'll see it come together. I'll do one right here. Put that one in, see if it's in the right spot. I need to come up just a little bit. All right, because the impact driver has such a touchy trigger, I'm gonna use a screwdriver to just do these fine adjustments. Yeah. Just a little less. There we go. There. I'm gonna do this all the way across on one side, and then when I'm done, I'll show you the next step. But I'm gonna spare you from watching me do all that because it's gonna take a second. Okay, so I got all my screws in on one side, going all the way across, and they're all level. Can you see though? You see how those are sticking up maybe about 1/2 inch? Those are a little more than 1/2 inch. And then as we come down here, you can see that they drop in even more. So just goes to show you, there was a huge dip in the wall right here. So now that I've leveled this one side, now I need to level it this way. This would be easier with my small little bullet level, but since I don't have it, we'll make do. So I'm gonna put a screw right next to the other one and use my level again. And when it comes to leveling, it's important that you are eye level with the bubble so you know, and you're not getting a mismeasurement on level because you're looking at it from the side. If you look at it head on, then you'll know. Just like that. So by doing this, I know it's going to be level this way, and because this screw is level with that, then it's going to be level all the way across as it goes around. Now for this joint here, what I'm gonna do is, once I get this piece installed first, then I'm gonna get this one measured and cut to fit, and I'm gonna put more screws right where that joint is, just so it has some weight, or some support for the weight. By doing this, I'm taking some of the guesswork out of it, because I'm leveling it as I go already, so all I need to do is drop my board on it and pin it in, and I know it's level. I'm gonna spare you from all this, and we'll come back when I've got it all leveled out. And just like that, we've got screws on both sides now. So it's level this way and level this way. So now all we do is put the boards on. What I need is an inch. Okay, you see how that works? It's nice and sturdy, and especially once I get it pinned in, there won't be hardly any deflection, especially when the casing's up on it. It's going to be a lot of walking back and forth. 1 1/8 inches. 1 1/8, 1 1/8, 1 1/8. Down here, what do we have? You know, that's pretty close. There's 1 1/8, but down here, we're like 1 3. 1 3/16. 1 1/8. I can live with that. I like where the back is. I'm gonna do. So now it's held in place back here. I want to come down here and just make sure it stayed where I want it. 1 1/8. So now I'll pin this side in. I'm trying to avoid hitting my screws. All right. Everywhere that I put a screw, I want 2 nails. And the reason I want 2 nails is because if this board has a bit of a cup in it, by putting a nail on each side, I'm kind of forcing that cup down. Now what I could have done was, I could have put the cup facing up so all the weight eventually will sag down. But this was the nicer side of the board. Which seems like that's usually how it goes. The nice side of the board is usually the one that's cupped. Alright, we got that in. Now let's solve the issue of connecting these two. What I'm going to do, I'm going to line the back up, and then I'm going to mark my line where I need to make the cut on that side and on this side. And now I'm going to take my speed square and I'm going to connect my lines. I got a little mark up here. I'm going to line my line up down here and up there. And then, there we go. That's off by maybe a 1/16 long. So let me go get that cut and we'll come back and we'll see how it fits. One quick thing, I am purposely going to cut this a little long so I have to force it into place over here, just because I would much rather it be too long than too short and have to fill in a huge gap over on that side. Moment of truth. Dang, I cut that like exactly where it needed to be. A little gap on this side, we can fill that with caulk. I like it. Let me throw a few screws in over on this side. Now, I could use my level here. I'm not going to. What I am gonna do is, again, a lot of back and forth. A lot of back and forth because I want to get this flush. So this fella needs to come up. And this one needs to go down. Dang, I almost nailed that first try. Both need to go down just a little. And when I say it's fine tuning, it's like very fine. Very little adjustments. Honestly, I might not get it any better than it is. This board has a cup in it. It looks like a rainbow. But I could sand this spot out and then it'll be fine. So, what do I need? I need some wood glue. Let's get some wood glue. It's okay to be a little liberal here with the wood glue, but I am going to come from the other direction so it doesn't squeeze out everywhere. There. Okay. Now, I want to get this lined up. I like it right there. There we go. We got it. We'll just fill that with some wood filler. Yeah. Now same story. Where there's 2 screws, 2 nails. And we have a wall cap. We'll get the casing on, prep it for paint, and we're done. So the last step I've got to do before prepping for paint is put the casing on. So this is 1/13 1/8. I can actually write that right here. And that's going to have a miter on both sides. This one only needs a miter on one side. That is 108 3/8. For this piece, and get it butt up into that corner. And because I have another piece butting up into it, if my cut wasn't perfect, like I want it right there, so I know I pulled it off the wall a little down there, which is okay. Okay. This is a wild game of yoga. Just feeling to make sure it's my miter's a little past the edge, which it is right there. So let's throw one into that top plate. That would be enough to hold it. And we'll just pin as we go. Trying to stay about 1/2 inch down so it actually goes into the plate. Now, this is where things are about to get a little squirrely. So, I hate doing joints like this that have 2 miters on them. I'm just gonna put that where I want it. Come down here. That's actually good. Okay. So same thing. Get it lined up. And pin. There we go. One more. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. Dang it. I gotta take it off. I gotta take it off because it was too far over. At least it was that easy. Just so I don't screw that up again. I got a bit of a helping hand with me. Let's get you where I want you. A clamp. Just to hold it in place. Okay. Check down here it is. Okay. Now we're good. Now I can get it pinned down. Make sure one more time before I continue. We're good. And remember, every hole that you make will need to be filled. I don't know if that one went in. They're not going in. Yep. There we go. I love this nail gun, but it's been having a misfire recently, and I don't know why. And it really aggravates me as I start putting in 100 holes and nothing's happening. Milwaukee, what's your deal? I need my claw tooth. There we go. Now I just need some more pieces. I cut the miter first, and I go from the end of the miter to 44 3/4. That'll leave me with a 1/4 inch reveal over here, and the miter will line up. All right, so what I've done, I put a little round over on that side instead of doing a return because it's gonna get painted anyway. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Little glue on the miter, and yes, the miter's open, but that's okay. I could fix it. How bad is it? Oh, that's not bad at all. That's actually what I prefer. This piece is sticking out a little bit past this one, but it's flush over here, so I could just sand that part flat. You won't even know once it's painted. Well, big nails here. And it misfired. Did you misfire? I don't think you did. Okay. And now, for down here, and then through the miter on this side, and through that side. Love it. Okay, or we can drop that, and then sand it as if nothing ever happened. And the only people that'll know are you and me. Now, I'm gonna fill this small crack right here with some wood glue, force it into the crack, and throw a little dust into it. And now, a nice sharp miter. 2 more pieces to do, so I'm gonna finish that off and then come to prepping for paint. And that's pretty much it. We're done. That's it. We got the wall cap in, got all the casing installed, even got it installed on this side. That's gonna be fun to paint, but I need to go around and fill all the holes with spackle, because I've already got the top done with wood fill. Go around, fill all the holes, caulk all the joints, get it painted, show you the final reveal. We're done. A lot of work was done today. A lot of traveling was done too, which I don't really like days like today where I feel like I was traveling around finding material, cutting material, more than I was actually working, but you know, it's all part of it. But the only thing we have left to do in terms of this home renovation is shoe molding around the base and then paint the walls, and then it's done. It is completely done, and I'm glad. I know this was a long video, so if you made it this far, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So till the next one.